Yo, 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 what's up?
Good morning.
Everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Y'all looking so sad. I done got my hair all done up. Y'all need to be smiling at me. Who my hair's all done up. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
That's much better. Loosen up. We on our access tonight. Well, we just gonna tell it like the TI is, like the old people used to say. Our access denied is about what parents really care the most about. We talk about stuff we want to talk about here. So me and somebody done replayed the intro music. It's good to see y'all. Why don't y'all go around and kind of introduce yourself a little bit?
All right.
Start with Thomas.
I'm Thomas Driver. I'm a Nashville Propel community organizer.
All right. We got an organizer specialist in the house. All right, Torvis.
Torvis Gardner, a parent organizer with Nashville Propel.
All right. Who else we got here?
Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Maya. I'm also a parent organizer with Nashville Propel.
All right, guys. And I am Sonia Thomas. Sonia the mom. Anybody can get it, Torvis.
Yeah, right.
Somebody's mama. And for those of you who are watching for the first time, I am the executive director for Nashville Propel, one of the founding leaders on the team. And I'm excited to have these fellas on here. I'm the only girl on here. So, y'all take it easy on me. Don't be hard. Don't be, being overachievers on here. I'm feeling a little intimidated.
You're right.
For our audience, if you don't mind, like sharing and liking this Access Denied show, share out with people in here to join in on the discussion. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about some things that happened in the city council last night with the budget. We're going to talk about this promising scholar stuff, high dosage tutoring. Very important. We like high dosage tutoring. We're going to talk about that a little bit, what's going on in MNPS with the promising scholars. We're going to talk about expectations for the summer. Like, what are you guys expecting the school system to do over the summer in preparation for the new school year? And we're going to start off first, though, by shouting out our parents who joined our campaign call last night. Thank you. So, all right, guys, let's get to it. So let's start off with this this talk about the city council. For those of you who don't know, the city council made it rain a little bit more last night. State been making it rain. $4.5 billion is coming into the state of Tennessee for education. And then, metro schools, amongst other school districts in the state, will be getting millions of dollars on top of Metro's approved budget of $1 billion. And then last night, they got some additional funding for advocacy centers, additional funding for I believe additional psychologists in the school. And so let's talk about that a little bit, fellas. Tell me what you think about that.
Well, like you said, there's a lot of money being thrown around and they improve the budget for advocacy center. So what is that going to consist of? That is the question. We hear a lot of different things thrown out, but it is never really, like I always say, talk over people's head. Tell me what this is supposed to consist of. You keep saying stuff is approved, and it's a lot of things have been approved, but have we seen it? Have we seen it happen? No.
So your question is, what are advocacy centers? What are they? Like, right. They're for who? And what will they do?
Exactly. What are they going to do? What is the plan? What is the layout? What is the mission statement? What is the vision? What is it supposed to do?
Very good point. Anybody else got anything to say about that, about advocacy centers? Torbis, you asking the same questions that I've been asking. Who are they advocating for? Is this another way for the system to protect itself? Which is scary, right? That's scary, to have one advocating for itself. And yeah, that's scary for me. Advocacy is a hard thing. That means having to address the issue that one is facing without bias. And so that scares me, that we have a system that is not protecting children. They're going to have their own advocacy centers with no, I guess, with no communication out to what is being advocated for. So good point. Good point.
So if you lower your standards, what are the standards that they're supposed to uphold? Or it's like it says, advocating for themselves. We should be advocating for kids. So who knows what you're supposed to do? Who knows where the bar is? Who knows you're doing what you're supposed to do if nobody really knows what you're supposed to do?
Thomas, do you feel like the system is already advocating for itself? Like, do they already have advocacy? I think so. I feel like the system advocates. I wonder what your thoughts are about that.
I mean, I lean toward Torvis as far as, I mean, what's the example of an advocacy center? Like, we've approved something, but what's an example of what the money was approved for?
Like, has it ever been done before, and has it worked in previous?
Right. Where's the data for the money being approved for something that we need, that we don't have an example of what it is, how it's going to help, who's all going to be involved, what's the partnerships, how long is it supposed to last?
That's a good point. Can I stop you right there? How long is it supposed to last? Because I wonder if some of this money that is one-time money is going towards that, and is it sustainable? Good job. That's a good point. Wow. What about you, Cliff? Any thoughts around that?
I mean, I'm glad we got the money. I'm glad that the kids need it, but it's so funny that we're talking about like high dosage tutoring, helping out with learning losses, also getting teachers like the resources and the funds that they need, where it comes to salaries or just help. And then they give us an advocacy center. And now we have more questions on top of that. It's like we're asking for one thing, and then I kind of feel like it's like a placebo of something else. Well, I want it to work. I want the kids to get what they need, and I want everyone to be happy. But is this what they need during, after, and with the effects of COVID and everything? But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, nobody is saying, like, because money is great, right? Because for far too long, I mean, that's been the war cry, that there's not enough money. There's not enough money. Under-resourced, underfunded, and that's why children are not achieving academically. But like you said, like, they're not even listening to parents. It's like everybody is doing things to us again. They're not listening to what we're asking them for and what we know for a fact that children need. And it seems to always go to the back burner. Let's go to this. Let's go to the promising scholars. First of all, I want to put out a disclaimer. High dosage tutoring is a much needed tactic towards addressing learning loss. Good morning, Jordan. Good morning. It's a much needed tactic. And so we have our organizers on today because we went Monday. I did the update, and I was ranting and raving. I think justly about what we were hearing from parents and grandparents as we were asking them about their promising scholars experience. And so we have our organizers here to bring receipts to really allow the public to hear what parents and grandparents are saying, and children, what they're saying about their experience with promising scholars. I ain't gonna lie, I done talked to several teachers, and I've confirmed what's going on in them classrooms, in those buildings. Not all bad things are going on, but when the director of school says that we're providing high dosage tutoring, I want to make sure, as we did a couple of weeks ago with Emily Freitag, that parents know what high dosage tutoring is, because this ain't it, what they're getting. And for far too long, we've had people to tell us that our children are receiving certain things, and we've believed it. It sounds good, it's pretty. They're saying it all over the country. High dosage tutoring. Good. We want them to have high dosage tutoring, but this ain't that. So let's talk about that a little bit, guys. As you've been canvassing and knocking on doors and talking to families, tell me what you've been hearing.
Well, to know what high dosage tutoring is, you can come to. It's never really been out there. They're saying that they're doing it, but some of the teachers don't exactly know what high dosage tutoring is. Just like the parents don't, the kids don't. When they say high dosage, I mean you got high levels of something, which is more frequency or duration of something. I mean high dosage. So the tutoring that you have now, a lot of the parents I've talked to that have to get tutoring, it's like the teacher's supposed to teach them in class end up being the teacher that's doing the tutoring. And they're like, well, one of the parents was like, well, if that teacher was teaching them in class, they wouldn't need it on the backside of the class. So I just don't think that they understand what high dosage tutoring is. Just like, there's a lot of things that words are thrown out there. We always talking about words. And I don't think nobody really knows what it is. When we had the speaker series, there's some stuff I knew about it, but some stuff I didn't know about it. And once you researching it, it's like the kids really need high dosage tutoring, especially with the learning loss, with the pandemic learning loss, with the stuff they didn't know already. So yeah, it's a really big need for high dosage tutoring and PLP. So I mean, it's a lot of needs and stuff go out there. When are we gonna start taking care of the kids?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about what high dosage tutoring is a little bit. So if you have a child who's in promising scholars, they should be having more of a one-on-one, maybe a 1-to-3 to 1-to-4 ratio with teachers. Now, Torvis, you said there was a parent that said that they have the same teacher. I could see where that could be a plus or a minus, like you said. So if the teacher was doing well with the child, had a relationship, it's also about relationship with that child, that could be a plus, right? But if there's no relationship there, if that child is in a big group and not like a 1-to-3, 1-to-4, getting like at least 45 minutes of rigorous tutoring, each day for like 3 days a week at least, then that is not high dosage tutoring. And that's not happening, in some of the schools from what I'm hearing. And so I guess, my question to you guys are you seeing a at least, or at the most, a 1-to-4 ratio with these children? Cliff is shaking his head. Knocked on somebody, don't they? They not told the truth.
Yeah, some of these parents, they live it. They have no clue about high dose tutoring. They don't know what it is. When I bring it up, it's the first time of them ever hearing about it. Or they speak about how their kids are still in the classroom where it's like it's not 1-to-4 or 1-to-3. It's still back to like 1-to-25, 1-to-35.
Dang.
And they feel like sometimes the teachers are overwhelmed, or the teachers are fresh out of college, or it's a lot of stuff. It's the laundry list of issues that they have. And yeah, high dose tutoring. Yeah, I don't think
That
his parents
ain't
have
happening.
it. Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, and so I think the reason why we're talking about this is because our director of schools, she said it last week. Like, did nobody tell her to say that? She ain't been saying it, and I don't mean no harm. But all of a sudden last week, that word came up on the boardroom floor, and so it's got to be called out. It ain't got nothing to do with not liking her. I like her. I agree with a lot of the stuff that she does, but we also have to hold people accountable. And so we work for parents and we work for students. Okay, we don't work for systems, and we're here to hold people accountable. And I'm gonna tell you something. That ain't that. This that they getting ain't that. I got that from the kids. This ain't that. They're not getting that, and we have to really call that out so that parents know, that they know and they understand what their children are really getting and what they deserve. Not just deserve, what they need. Like, in order to recover children from learning loss using high dosage tutoring, it has to be high dosage tutoring. Period.
Right. And the number one thing of that, it has to be a relationship. That's what, when she was talking about the high dosage tutoring, it was talking about the relationship. The child know that you care about them. They know that you're trying to do something to help them, and you have a relationship. And the child will do more with you and for you when you have a relationship. So that's the number one part of it. And with the numbers we're talking about, 1 to 25, there's no way you can have a relationship with 25 different kids at the same time. So
you know what, you can over time, but that's what we're talking about too. So this is the thing. We're talking about having all components. It's just like reading and literacy, right? Like, if you're not teaching children how to decode, where they have phonics and phonemic awareness, fluency, comprehension, the vocabulary, if you're missing any of those things, you're really not teaching them how to read. So what we're saying here, Torvis, I think what we're saying is, like, if you're missing the component of 1 to 4 ratio, how much of a relationship is there? It can't be some. And then how much really rigorous tutoring are we doing? But also, there's got to be some progress monitoring here.
yeah.
Like, what's the outcome? I wonder if you guys are even thinking about that. Like, as tutoring goes on over the summer, Torvis just mentioned it, a personalized learning plan. Like, well, what's the plan for that child going forward?
Right.
Any thoughts about that?
What's the plan? It's June. This 2 months they'll be back in school. And like we keep saying, we can't go back to business as usual. We've heard a lot of promises, we have a lot of things thrown out there, but we haven't seen anything. School is about to start again. They just got out, and we're doing this summer school, which is for a month.
Yes.
Some of them half a day, some of them not half a day. I don't know what it really entails. It's really not time to go and try to, I guess, tutoring your kids. A lot of the parents are saying it's just a babysitting service, and yeah, I mean it's like a babysitting service to them. They say they go to school, they play, and they eat, and they come home. But the teachers are getting paid good for it, and I feel kind of bad about that, because you feel like the teachers get $300 to do a summer school class, but you don't pay them that much during the school year. So I would feel bad. I mean, I feel bad. It's okay to pay me for this during this time frame, but when school start back, when it's really time to get down to get business, not just 4 weeks, we're talking about 6-7 months. I can get this much money, not that much money. The teachers don't have everything they need as well. So it's like,
are you hearing from parents that when you guys have been canvassing and talking to parents every day. So I want to go back to something. So you're saying that you're hearing parents feel like they're more babysitting?
yeah, it's more of a babysitting. They say it's nothing the kids can really learn. What did you do in school today? We pretty much went outside. We ate breakfast. We ate lunch. So what did you do? We went over there. What are you going over? Because it's not a full class. What are you going over? Are you going over something you have problems with? Or are you going forward? What are you actually doing in this summer week? What are you doing in these 4 weeks?
Sounds like there's a communication problem too. So if is there, Cliff, do you hear like a communication problem? So if a parent is asking, what did you learn today? Right. Mm-hmm. Do you hear any communication problems in that?
Yeah, a lot of it is just trying to see what the kids are doing, like what do their day consist of. like, or asking children like, hey, what classes do you need help with? And then seeing how when you go into summer school with the Promising Scholars program, what are you getting help with? And then to hear breakfast and lunch and running outside, I don't think they need much help with that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think like they're getting it. And I feel like a lot of these kids are going to go back into school, and with all this learning loss for the last 18 months due to COVID and everything, it's going to come back even worse. And how is that going to affect them socially, and how's it going to affect them education and just all things, just period. And then we're going to have a bunch of adults that are graduating from high school, and what do they learn?
That's sad. And that's the question. What are they learning? What are they learning? What are they, this shouldn't even be enrichment. This should be recovery time. Mm-hmm. There's a difference in those two words, right? Mm-hmm. Enrichment, which that's what it sounds like some of these kids are getting, or they're doing just some activities. Or when I was little, I used to go to Grace Eaton and Mother Goose. I don't know if y'all went over there out south. That's where I went, and I played in the sandbox, and we ate good. My favorite meal was when we had them pears in that big bowl over at Gracie. and we used to pass them. We used to say, sang that song, "God Our Father." Once again, we bow heads and thank you. I remember that, and played in the sandbox. And those things are important too, right? That's important for them to play and have fun. They've been away from their friends. Yeah. But we have high expectations, don't we, Thomas? That they will be recovered from learning loss because they've got so much time to play. Play don't pay your bills. Play don't heal your body. Play ain't gonna buy you no car when you get old, and it sure ain't gonna take care of your children. So, we have expectations that they are learning, and they're being recovered from learning loss. Anybody else got anything to add to that?
Well, also, go ahead, Thomas.
No, you go ahead.
Even with that being said, the thing came out about, I guess next year, the kids don't have what they need, or on grade level by the third grade, you got to go to summer school, sign up for repeat the grade, summer school, and tutoring. So if looking fast forward, if this is what they consistent of, the tutoring in the summer school, if they or repeat the grade, they don't look good. That's not looking good to me.
Who do you think that affects most? When we think about that, Thomas, when we think about Torres is referring to the learning loss law that came out in the special session back in January, February, where a lot of laws were passed around literacy. Is a third grade retention law. So in 2022, if a child does not show that they're proficient on the Tennessee Ready, which is the state test that all children take, if they're not showing that they are proficient in literacy, then they're either retained, they go to summer school, or they have to opt in to tutoring. And who do we think that that's going to affect most?
It's most definitely going to affect the child.
What kind of child? You can go ahead and say it. All right.
The child that can't pass the test.
I say it's going to affect Black children. Sorry, Thomas, but I had to come and say it.
Right. I mean, it's going to affect the child in a way that the school system at this point, maybe not due to all failure of its own, but with the relief and with the past and with the history, and when you add all those components together, and now you're finna put this on the child, now you're finna hold the child back even more. So now you're finna have issues with behavior. Now you're finna have issues with self-esteem. So I even asked the question with the high dosage. I'm curious as how you can have high dosage tutoring for this summer and you don't have like a personalized plan, or you don't have, I know when I'm doing canvassing, every single parent I've talked to has not received their TNY ready test to even see. A lot of them haven't even received a report card.
Mm-hmm.
So if the parents haven't received a report card or TNY ready test scores, then how can you be giving high dosage teaching to the kids who are going to Promising Scholar when you don't know what they feel or what they need more help in? Promising Scholar should be helping them advance so that when we go back to school,
Mm-hmm.
now they're advanced, their mind has been developing in the areas that they're weak in. So I mean, it's a contradiction to me.
So more Ryan says, my son said he likes going to Promising Scholars at Eagleview. I asked him each day what they learn and if it is the same from his charter school. I would love to hear that answer. So Ryan, it should not be the same that they learn from their charter school. Let me tell you something. It should be a 1-to-4 ratio, not a 1-to-15. So even your child saying that they're getting the same thing that they're getting if they're at school on a regular school day, it is not high dosage tutoring. So you as a parent, I want to educate you also that it should be a 1-to-4 ratio. So that's not like normal school, and that is not high dosage tutoring. And we have to be careful, guys, about what our children like. Let me start there. Now, Sonya, the mom, gonna come out.
They like cake for breakfast too.
Come on now. Come on, Daddy. They like what?
Cake for breakfast.
What else? Anybody else want to name something else they like to do?
They don't like brushing their teeth.
Nope, they don't. And what else do they like to do all day?
Sleep all day long.
And play what?
Yeah, play Fortnite.
Okay, then. So we got to be careful about what our children say that they like, because that scares me even more. If they liking it, I got questions. And I don't mean no harm.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I like it. I mean, if you're going there, you're playing. I mean, a lot of these kids haven't seen their peers in a whole 18 months. So going to school and going to this Promising Scholar program for a month, and now you get to finally play with other kids that look like you and they're your same size, and you aren't doing anything but running around and eating and playing. I like that too. I want to do that now as a grown up.
Come on now. Okay, Friday. It's a day clip. We're going to run around.
I'm not a grown up. I'm a former child.
We're going to go old school. We're going to pull out the hose pipe.
Yeah, I know, right? And get a bounce house.
And I want to say this. If anybody under the sound of my voice feels like that we're being negative, I don't care. I'm going to tell you why. If we don't say it, you won't know it. And we won't demand better. Ryan said he did say it's not as hard because at 12:30 they end lessons. So I asked, what are you learning though? He can't answer. Okay then. But there also should be more, Ryan. There should be some type of communication coming back to you. If I ask my son CJ anything about school, you know what he gonna tell me? I don't know. What about you, Torvis? When Trinity asked stuff, what she say?
Same thing. I don't know.
Thomas?
He just stares at me, and then he can't remember what he learned at Promising Scholars like he remembers during the school year, and he's a straight A student. So it lets me know that it's more of a summer camp than actual high dosage tutoring.
Dr. Penny Swin, I know your people are listening. Are you listening to this? $4.5 billion going down the toilet. That's the only thing that I can see every day. And that's what keeps me up at night is I see dollar signs going down toilets. Folk don't know what to do with this money. And you know what? I'm not going to blame no teachers about it. I blame leadership. There should be some type of leadership and guidance. The state of Tennessee is offering to each district, they're offering to help them to plan out these things. And so I have a question. Did metro schools, I don't care if you a charter school, I don't care if you a traditional, I don't care. I'm talking about all of y'all. Who reached out for help? Who showed real leadership in the planning of K through 12 promising scholars? I do know the high schools was put on their own to figure it out. Hey, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I don't say that today. Ooh, I hardly ever say that. But if I'm lying, I'm dying. And baby, I think I'm looking pretty good with this hair flipped up. And this old baby MAC lip gloss. And this MAC pencil and these earrings.
You know, when you go to school and you're using your brain and the kids come home tired. When we went to school, when you done something like you was really, really tired. It wasn't no, I want to go do this, I want to go do this and that. And it's a couple of parents that have talked to who kids who are getting PLPs in Nashville. That they
wait a minute, where they get it from, honey?
The Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club.
And Vital Support. One of our spin-offs of the PLP. Yes, we working with some folk outside of the district. As a matter of fact, shout out to Baltimore Schools who's consulting with and partnering with parents from Nashville Propel. Shout out to Dr. Sonia Lisa's for listening to parents. Not even in our own city or state. They have a school district that kind of mirrors the same population of people. And man, Dr. Santa Lisa says they want to get this thing right. They know what's at stake. Yeah. So they ain't nobody caring about nobody's feelings. Yeah. You can't care about people's feelings and friends and stuff when it's children's lives.
It's about humbling yourself and like seeing like what the problem is and just addressing the problem. It's not about just pointing fingers and saying, well, I'll do it later, or it's gonna fix itself. Like, what are you doing to fix that right now? As opposed to just saying things that sound cool. I go to students.
Or for the sake of saving face. Save my children, don't save my face.
Yeah. And everything we talk about starts with relationships. That's relationship with the child, relationship with the parents, the school. Everything starts with relationship. High dose institution. Number one thing of that is what? Relationship. Have a relationship with the child. These 4 kids you got a relationship with. The PLP deals with what? A relationship with the student, the child, the teacher. Everything's about being a relationship. So if you have no relationship, we know that things are not working because you can't even come and talk to us. We're the parents.
And it ain't no advocates. Is that what's gonna happen in the advocacy center? The personalized learning plan.
No. We don't even know what this going. It might not even be an advocacy center. They might just put the word on it. We have no idea what this going to entail because everything we're seeing now with this 4.5 billion, we haven't seen anything. We should have the best education money could buy with that money.
Yeah,
the best.
Now, at one point, MNPS had the community engagement department, and it had its pros, right? It had its pros to it. So maybe it's gonna be some of that with some personalized learning plans in there. I'm speaking into the air. See, one of my top 5 strengths is being a believer. And although I have to say the truth, I also have a belief system that God gonna turn this thing around, whether folks like it or not. So say what you want to say. God got the last say so. always. So that's why I can confidently tear your ass up and say God gonna fix it. Amen. Thomas over there like, oh my God. I can boldly say that. I can boldly say that. I can hold you accountable. You know what? And folk can do what they want to do behind scenes and say what they want to say. But I'm gonna tell you something with boldness. I know one thing. He will fix it. Kids will get personalized learning plans. They will have a world-class education system right here in Nashville, Tennessee. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen, guys. It is hard, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, why can't we just? I mean, why can't Nashville just be like the beacon of like where people like, man, I wish we got education in Nashville like they had in other places. I mean, why is that too much to ask for? Why do our kids have to go through?
Say it again. Wait a minute. You said the question that I asked on Disrupt Dismantle. Is that too much?
Is that too much? And then why is asking that even getting frowned upon? Like, I don't get it. Like these are our future doctors and our lawyers, our future politicians. When these, like I like to always say, when these kids might have the cure for cancer in their head, and then we're giving them lackluster education. They don't even take books home anymore.
You want to know why? Let me tell you something. I was on Twitter this week. When you have people who live in this city who still fight over school choice, they'd rather sit around and tell parents what school they go to and shame parents for what school they send their child to, rather than fixing the problem as to why people try to find different schools. And I laugh. If you are listening to me, if you talk to me about school choice, I am laughing at you so bad. I'm gonna tell you why. And I don't mean to go there, but Cliff, I think I have to say this because you asked the question. When I talk to principals in schools and teachers that tell me that they wouldn't even send their kids to the schools they work in, don't talk to me about school choice. If you're a school board member, don't talk to me. If you're the president of the United States, in which the Powerful Parent Network, we ran up on Joe Biden, I got pictures to prove it, and challenged him about school choice. He started stuttering, talking about the school charter schools and schools that are for profit. And when we talking about school choice, we ain't talking about just charter schools, honey. Charter schools and public schools. When we talking about schools, when we talking about systems, all included. Remember that. But anyway, when we have principals, teachers, support staff, all these people who will not send their kids to certain schools, and they tell me that, whether they whisper it in my ear on the side because they don't want nobody to know, or whether you send your child to a magnet school. If your neighborhood is so good, then keep your magnet student in your neighborhood school, baby. Keep them in your neighborhood school. Why you sending them to MLK and Hume Falls and Head? Keep them in your neighborhood school, boo. If that's so good, if they gonna get the quality they need, keep them in their neighborhood school. Otherwise, don't talk to me. But that conversation right there, instead of making sure that every school looks like Hume Falls, that every school looks like MLK. Cliff, they rather have that conversation and shame and throw snowballs. And baby, I'm here for it. As a matter of fact, when you talking that stuff to me, you distracted. And we're still focused. So I let you talk about it. And the whole time they having the conversation, I'm humming, come and go to their land where I'm bound, or something like that. So Cliff, I hope that answers your question. It's because we're not focused on increasing academic achievement in every school. And it's a deflection from the adults not ensuring that every school is an excellent school. And so they much rather talk about schools that take money out of the district, which you can't take money from yourself. Schools that are regulated by other operators. Well, you know what? Work on your operations. Because if it's going well in one school, we should be looking at that. So we're too busy being dysfunctional, having agendas that never start off with making sure that children receive a quality education. Michelle McIntyre said, what is the solution? Put aside all politics, put aside all agendas, answer the question of how do we increase academic achievement in schools, in which I've been asking that for 2 years, and nobody can answer it. It's called making sure that schools are not monopolies and making sure that they're not one size fits all. I don't care what school it is, whether you go into West Nashville or whether you go on Brick Church Pike, all schools that we send our children to, I should be able to send my child to any school building and them get an excellent education. But that is not happening.
Especially for $1 billion.
Come on now, what that smell like?
4 billion. 4 billion. Yeah, 4 billion.
Wait a minute. We want to make sure we're correct. Over 4.5 billion into the state of Tennessee. Wait a minute. And some more about to come. I ain't even told y'all about that yet. There's a whole bunch more coming in for capital spending. For capital spending. Michelle McIntyre, we teachers in classroom are working very hard. And Michelle, shout out to you, baby. Hey, this ain't about teachers. So I don't want nobody getting their feelings. I have friends who are teachers. As a matter of fact, come on and join us. Because we're fighting for you too. Because we know you don't have everything you need. Because we know that you go to bed at night wanting to do better by children. But we're talking about a system that doesn't even do right by teachers. They don't listen to teachers. They don't listen to our teachers. There are some great educators who have some great sound advice. Look at the beginning, you guys remember this, at the beginning of the pandemic, Schwab Elementary had Nikki Hendricks Boylan, who was one of the first teachers to launch remote learning. Back in 2020, March, April, remember we had her on the show. And we had Mr. Austin. And they began to do remote learning before the district could do it. We have some educators who are brilliant, who are genius, and nobody ever asked them how we can get this done. You know what? I'm going to put something together, guys. I need y'all to help me. Where we bring educators together, we bring more of them together to look at the best practices, and we demand better with them. What do you guys think about that? Ms. McIntyre, my number is 615-509-1916. First of all, I want you to call me because I want to personally tell you thank you for your service. Second of all, I would love to work with you and many other teachers because I know you got some great ideas. But I do feel like you're not being included. So I personally would commit to that, to listening to you, to what you care about, and see how we can work this thing out together. Because ain't no way you can deliver high dosage tutoring in a classroom of 15 or more. You've got to have 1 to 4. And that's what we're talking about. You've got to have what you need so you can do what you do best. And so thank you again. Mr. Turnley, he says, I have friends as teachers. We know teachers are struggling as well. Teachers can't even get good pay, but state leaders don't want to pay teachers. Politicians telling teachers what to teach. And when most of these politicians, politicians telling teachers what to teach, when most of these politicians don't care about our kids, it shows each legislative. Come on, Jarvis Turnley. 615-509-1916. Preach. Who are you? I think I know who you are. So I know him.
Yeah, he went for state representative. Yeah, you know him.
Come on and preach that thing.
And he'll
preach. Be quiet a little bit.
But you say the teachers, I remember when this first happened, going back to the pandemic, remember everybody was on the edge of their seat, went for this big announcement. They're on Tuesday. And they said, teachers, parents, children, tune in to the MNPS. We had a big announcement. And my first thought was, well, dang, the teachers don't know yet. Everybody's at the edge of the seat trying to figure out about the school. So, I mean, now they don't listen to the teachers. They find out the stuff the same way we find it out. And I don't think it's right. They should be working with them as well. So,
Michelle McIntyre says, look what she said, Torvis. You see that? I'm sorry, that stopped me in my tracks. She said, even during COVID, we had 30 kids in the classroom. Michelle, bless your heart. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. I said it before. Child, my son he went to Liberty. And his teacher, Miss Collier, she texted me. She said, he's not on the camera. And he's not responding in the chat. So, baby, you know, I went into singing the mom mode. I said, Miss Collier, tomorrow I will be on Zoom. And I can remember, y'all, we had some kind of team, something going. I think I had to stop what I was doing with the team because that's what mamas do, right? We gotta cater. So I got on here, y'all. Bless her heart. Baby, when I tell you that everybody camera was like this, she called it on folk. They ain't answering. But I also got to see from their perspective. I got to see it from their perspective. At that time, they were doing some type of science thing with speed and just things that I never would have thought that could be done virtually. But Miss Collier, she made it work. But I'm gonna tell you what I saw, Miss McIntyre, and I hope that this helps you too, because it really helped Miss Collier when I gave her the feedback. My son, along with the other kids, they were having trouble trying to process what was coming to them in the computer, figuring out the answer, and then enter into the chat, right? And so, you know, I was, but I could see Miss Collier getting frustrated, and then I could see CJ being frustrated. Then I was like, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? I was laughing, but crying, like feeling empathetic for Miss Collier and for the children. And so what I was able to do was connect with her after the class, and I could give her that feedback, and she welcomed it. But that's what partnership looks like, Miss McIntyre. It looks like us all being empathetic towards each other, talking about the hard things, and then coming up with a solution. And that's all we're asking with personalized learning plans in these schools.
Yes.
I was able to sit there with my son and work with the teacher, even virtually, to try to come up with a solution, not even just for him, because our movement, you know, even our movement is about all children, but to be able to give feedback on behalf of the other students and the parents. And that's what we're asking for, is real partnerships such as that. And it helped Miss Collier, because you know what, Miss Collier needed somebody to lift her spirits too. Yeah. She needed me to say, Miss Collier, I see you over there fighting, girl. Girl, you over there fighting with these children, as my auntie from Alabama used to say. She's trying to get them to respond. They ain't saying nothing back, y'all. But to their defense, they were trying to type stuff in the chat. They were trying to maneuver and navigate. And then sometimes they weren't paying attention, but that's what children do, right? They do that. But that's what we want. We want that type of feedback and communication. And we want to celebrate the wins. And Miss McIntyre, she says, I love my job. I don't mean to make this about Miss McIntyre, but you know what, Miss McIntyre? The system's so unfair, I'm going to make you teacher of the year today. Yeah. She said, I love my job, but this year was hard and there weren't any good solutions. And you know what? It was hard. It was hard. But I think that what is the great opportunity is we've got some stuff under our belt. We got the hard stuff under our belt with COVID-19. And so what we've got to do is take that hard stuff and know that we've got some things we've got to do in the beginning of the year. The computers don't need to go away, first of all. Yeah. We got to be smart. So you want solutions? Do you guys want to know why private schools survived? I'm going to tell you why. And I know I'm talking a lot, but I need to say this because for some reason we've got people who are like, ooh, public education, instead of saying children. They say, well, private schools were able to do this and they were able to do that. I am a parent who has had children in traditional private and charter school. Private schools give their children laptops in elementary school. So when we transitioned with COVID, they did not miss a beat. And when they had exposures in their schools, they were able to still keep going by sending their kids home for a couple of days, using their protocol, and they still did not miss school because they were already doing that.
Yep.
They were
already had it, whereas if a child, they had computers and had books, and they was set up, whereas if your child didn't feel good this day, they woke up and they text the teacher and say, I'm going to do virtual today. They already had the virtual option. They already had the virtual school.
Well, they already did things. So not just that, Torvis, a lot of their assignments were already like Google Classroom and things like that. So they were already like turning in their assignments, just like, you know, Cliff, like we go to college and like I did online school for Tribeca, right? And so it's like they already had those things in place, and that's just leadership. And that's why I want to keep this conversation is leaderships, teachers. One of the things you can demand is that we look at the best practices at private schools, at some of the highest performing traditional schools. Sue Kester was already using Schoology. She was already using Infinite Campus. And now we're going into this student dashboard with schools who have never used a program that they've already had access to and the district has paid money for in the past. Is that Dr. Battle's fault? No. It's not a Dr. Battle's fault. It is a system fault when we've purchased something and we've never used it to our advantage. So now parents don't know. Right. I mean, are you guys asking parents about the student dashboard? What are you hearing from parents?
Yeah, I haven't brought that one up so far when I speak to parents. I normally just talk about certain things, but that's definitely going to be in my repertoire now.
Well, you know, my parents talking about the dashboard. I mean, it's just information. You know, one of my parents had another picture of a child on it. They wasn't even their child. So it was like, they're not going to get this stuff right. This ain't even my child. So
yeah, I saw that picture. That was very traumatic for me. I think that we have things that we've, you know, and it goes back to what we're talking about wastage. That we have things, and what we're afraid of is we're not taking this historic. Y'all, we will never see this amount of money in the school system ever again.
No, we would not ever
again. I don't think so. I don't think so in my lifetime will we see trillions of dollars. So now I'm talking federal. Trillions of dollars have come down from the federal level to state level, which equals out to billions as it's dispersed. and millions into school districts. And we will never see this again, I believe, in our lifetime. And, you know, y'all know one of my favorite quotes is seizing the opportunity in the life of the opportunity. You can't wait until the opportunity pass you by.
Right.
You just can't. And so my daddy used to say something to Orvis when he get in trouble with my mama because he been out playing pool or other stuff he had no business doing. God rest his soul. I love him. He say, I'm doing the best I can. How many times do you hear that?
Sometimes you do the best that someone else can do.
Say that again.
Sometimes you do best that somebody else can do.
Can we afford to say that we're doing the best that we can, Thomas?
No, especially when we're not doing the best we can.
Oh, come on now, brother. See, I like Thomas. Thomas smooth. Say it again, Thomas. Especially when we what?
When we're not doing the best we can.
Then you ask for money. Money. We ain't got the money. We ain't got the money. We got the money. Now that you got the money, you ain't got a plan. It's like I won the lottery. I don't know what to do.
Got more money than God.
Wait a minute, y'all. I got more money than who?
Yeah, God.
Y'all crazy.
Man, it's you know, it's funny because I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's funny because people like talk about it like we stupid.
Yeah.
Like parents, if we don't organize, they gonna get away with this.
Wizard of Oz. Don't pay attention to the people behind the curtain.
You better start paying attention. And I know some of you you're afraid. Some people may feel like folk is doing the best they can. Some people may feel like they ain't got a dog in the fight. But my good friend Rev Fuzz always says it well. He said, if I get sick, I need somebody to take care of me. If I need my car worked on, I need somebody that can work on my car. If I want me something good to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, Southern first, you say something to eat. If I want something to eat, something good to eat, I need a chef. And it's everybody's business. Everybody's business about this money. And next week, I think we should unveil the money. It's enough to talk about it. But when we show people, see, I like to show people better I can tell them. I know I talk cash money and I'm 45 years old. And I just say what I feel. I don't hold back. I almost died 3 times. Hell, I say what I got to say because I might not get to see it. But I think we should show people, show parents, show the community what we're talking about. And the community should hold our elected officials accountable for every penny of it. Why not? If I get a parking ticket, they want their money, don't they?
Yes.
Water company want their water money. What they gonna do?
Cut it off.
You cut it off, you don't pay it. Which reminds me, I need to pay my water bill. You don't pay that light bill, what happened?
It's you.
So when I send my money in there for lights and water, I expect what?
Lights and water.
And when I send my kids into these school buildings, what I expect, Thomas?
High quality education.
Let's talk about that as we close out. Name 3 characteristics of that. What does that look like to you as a parent? What does an excellent or You know what? I really don't even like using high quality anymore. I'm gonna tell you why. Because quality is based on what other people think is quality. But you as a parent, what does excellence look like to you as far as your child education? 3 things, just call it out.
Equitable education.
High dosage tutoring.
Okay, you're using the words. I'm gonna tell you what it look intentional. For me, it must be intentional, on purpose. Excellence on purpose. That is a characteristic that I want in an education for my child. Torvis says equity. Thomas says high dosage tutoring. I say intentionality. You put them 3 things together.
Got some.
You got something.
And I guess we say Cliff would say PLP. So we put them 4 together.
Yes, you put that together. My God, as the old preachers used to say.
Yep.
My God. Well, this concludes our access denied, fellas. It has been great. We coming off a high dosage retreat a few weeks ago, and you guys have been on fire. And I want to celebrate you. I know you've been in the hot sun, knocking on people's doors. I'm coming out there with you. I'm put this hair in a ponytail. Now it's gonna be little because my hair ain't long as it was, but it's gonna be little. And I'm gonna be out there with you in the next couple of weeks. I celebrate you. I appreciate the great work, the teamwork. You inspire me, and I'm publicly saying it. And anybody mess with y'all, they got to come through me. These my brothers on this call. These are some wonderful daddies, great fathers, who not only fight for their children, but they are fighting for all children. So I want to highlight them and celebrate them and say Happy Father's Day to you, and Happy Father's Day to all other fathers out there. We're celebrating Juneteenth this week. So Nashville Propel, our office will be closed in celebration so that we can celebrate the festivities. There's a festival going on at Hatley Park on Saturday. I will be there. Nino Black, if you listening, I done already told him to find me 2 t-shirts. I'm gonna be booed up. Mind your business. But I'm gonna be out there celebrating Juneteenth. I want to shout out a couple of parents. Sarita, Yvonne, Cassandra, hello. Love you guys. And you guys have a great week.
See you next week. Show and tell next week.